morning. Good morning. It is official. It is time to get this property tour started. Welcome on, everybody. My name is Scott Buchholz. I'm your host for today's property tour. We also have Yas Hakan, our co-host. We do these every Saturday morning as we're a national community of investors all over the country. We're doing deals all over the United States. And we love to highlight or share or spotlight investors from our community who are making things happen, who are doing deals. We get to introduce them, which I'm going to kick off and introduce Randy here in a second, and tell a little bit about his story, kind of what he was doing before he became an investor, how he found our community, things like that, and then talk a little bit about the deal. And so again, super excited. We really appreciate everybody being on today. We still have lots of people logging on. If you guys can help us with keeping your phones or your devices on mute, that'll cut down all the background noise. And we definitely want folks to type in the chat room as we go along some questions, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. We do keep this, to right at about an hour. And it's a lot of information to cover. So again, we're so excited to have Randy on. Randy, are you ready to jump on?
Yes, I'm ready to go.
Well, we see you. Good morning, Randy. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I am so pumped up and excited that you have stepped up and said, you know what? I'll be a part of the property tour. I'll share what I'm doing and just, give back to the, as we call it, the family. Today we're going to have a lot of people on that are a part of the community. Maybe they just got started. Maybe they haven't done a deal, Randy. Okay. Maybe they've done a deal or two and they want to get their game or their business to the next level. Okay. And then we're going to have a lot of guests on today, folks that are kind of checking us out. They're saying, who is this community? They're all over the country. How do they work together? How do they collaborate? How do they learn together? And so, we have a nice wide spread of folks that are on today. So I love kicking off and giving you the opening here so you can kind of talk a little bit about, yourself. I know we only have an hour, so you got to keep it short. But it's really interesting because you were doing real estate investing before you found our community. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Yeah, I knew that. But so for everybody on today, this is an investor, and I met Randy when I first become a part of this community 7 years ago. Went to a couple of his intensive type trainings and things, and I knew right away. I was like, this guy knows what he's talking about, and the fact that how Randy communicates was something that stood out to me. When Randy talks about a subject or a subject matter, you can understand what he's talking about. It's like, okay, I get it. And so Randy was doing real estate before he found this community. Okay, like me, I had never done an actual deal. I'd built my own houses before, but never done investing. And so when I found this community, I was very green and very fresh, and I needed all the education and knowledge that I could gain. And but Randy already had a lot of that in his backpack. So Randy, talk a little bit about yourself, what you're doing before you found the community. And I always think one of the biggest things is, why did Randy Pertler decide, you know what, I want to connect with this community of investors. I'm already doing deals, but I want to connect with this community. So go ahead and take it over, Randy.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks so much. First of all, it's a privilege that I was asked to do this. I was a teacher and coach initially, so that I think that's whenever I'm able to present, kind of that teacher mentality gets back to me. And if I am able to explain things that are clear, it's because I was teaching high school kids and I had to take maybe a difficult concept and really break it down. So I think that served me well as a real estate investor and a member of this community. So it's an honor to be a part of the community. I'll try to address, you had a lot of great questions there. I'll try to address most of those in kind of the structure of my PowerPoint here. As I said, I was a teacher and coach. I was a VP of sales on 3 different publishing companies. But what's happened to most people, that's been in a career for very long, there's downsizing. One time we were downsized. One time 2 companies merged together. They only needed 1 VP of sales, and we were acquired by the other company. And in 2008, the publishing company I was with laid off 300 people, including myself, my staff, managers that reported to me. And so even though I had dabbled in real estate in my 20s, I had been away from it for about 10 years. And really, through my experience in corporate America, I learned very quickly that, as Bob Tierney always says, job security is an oxymoron. I mean, by definition, if it's a job, it's up to somebody else whether or not you have that job the next day. And so after experiencing that in 2008, I really got serious and started doing real estate full time. And as Scott mentioned, I had done real estate deals. I'd maybe done 10 to 15 real estate deals when I was contacted by somebody and invited to a presentation to join this group. And I remember thinking that, I'm already doing real estate. Is there really value here? Is this something that would benefit me? And I remember going to a workshop. So I went to one of the Saturday workshops, which, if you don't know about those, get with the person that invited you on this webinar. I went to a Saturday workshop and it was the fix and flip instructor. Well, it was perfect timing because I had just flipped a property. So everything was very fresh in my mind. My numbers were fresh, my approach, my strategy. And he was going through some things. And I just remember just one little thing that I picked up in terms of guiding you to make decisions on a flip. I was thinking, well, what can I sell that property for? What can I sell that property for? And that's what I based on my numbers, which seemed very logical. But then I had that experience that I sold the property for one price, but it appraised at a lower price. And long story short, I ended up having to accept that lower offer because it was an FHA buyer, and most of my buyers would have been FHA. And the fact that I realized that had I did that one piece of advice that he said, and that is when you analyze your property, don't analyze it the ARV of what you can sell it for. It needs to be what it will appraise for. And those can be two different things. So I look back, I'm thinking, if I'd made different decisions on how I rehab that property based on what it will appraise for, I may have made about $10,000 more on the flip that I had just done. And that wasn't my first rodeo. That was not my first flip. But just that one little nugget, I'm like, wow, this is a way to take my business from good to great. This is a way to get the maximum profit on every deal. This is the way to do more deals. So that was one reason why I joined the community. The other thing was I was pretty much a one or two trick pony. I mean, I was buying rental property and I was buying houses to flip, but that's about it. What's the beauty about Renatus and any real estate investing education that really, dives deep into multiple strategies is that I believe as a real estate investor, the more people you help, the more deals you're going to do. So look at it as, I looked at it as, okay, I'm going to expand my knowledge and experience in a lot of areas so I can help more people. And that in turn will help my real estate career. So that's really why I got started. Since I've been started, I've completed over 100 deals. I don't count. I just thank God and praise God for every one of those deals. And a lot of those were deals that were outside of my comfort zone when I first got started in this community. And then currently I have a rental portfolio, single families, multifamily units. I'm a licensed real estate broker building a national real estate team. And by the way, in the picture there, the Top Agent magazine, I did an article, or the article they did on me, I talked about moving from self-employment to business ownership. And a lot of real estate brokers out there, maybe people that are involved in different jobs or what they think is a business, is really just self-employment. It's if they're working, they're making money. If they're not working, they're not making money. By definition, that's a job, not a business. So anyway, there's an article in there, and I really kind of used my experience with this community and education to really form that information that went into that article. I have a YouTube channel. I'm about to launch a market of crowdfunding, a real estate deal, or a real estate website for crowdfunding. We're in the process of developing a 34 unit condo building on a golf course. And then we're expanding now where I'm really focused, and what I'm going to talk about today is luxury short-term rentals. And we sometimes call them experiential short-term rentals. Luxury usually hits, the nail on the head pretty quick. So these aren't your typical rental property. This is one where you can have 16 to 20 people there. Most short-term rentals they're limited to maybe, we can only have 8, or we're in a neighborhood, and if we have more than 8 or 9 people, we're going to get complaints by the neighbor. We actually intentionally go out and find properties that are on acreage that we're not going to buy a neighbor or bother a neighbor, that allows short-term rentals. And then we open ourselves out to large weddings, rehearsal dinners. We've had anniversary parties, retirement parties. I mean, you pretty much name it. And from a family standpoint, we have hosted that, and we're proud to host it. And that's a little, niche market that we're carving out, starting out in Chicago, but expanding. We have property outside of Indianapolis we're about to launch. We've got one outside of Atlanta. We have others under contract outside of in other areas of the country. In fact, the little picture there of me and Kevin Harrington, that's Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank. I applied to a show that they're launching, and we got accepted onto this TV show that hopefully will launch in the fall, and it's will be in the 2nd episode. So they were so intrigued and liked our business model around short-term rentals that will be highlighted on this TV show hosted by Kevin Harrington, one of the original sharks from Shark Tank. So really, that's the focus of what we're doing. And then here's just a little blurb here. There's Kevin Harrington there in the picture from Shark Tank. So we're really excited about that. But if it wasn't for this community and networking with people and learning real estate the proper way and executing it, we would never have that opportunity. So this is the house that we're at right now. And first I'm going to run through some pictures fairly quick, because then I'm going to walk around with the camera and you're going to actually see it. Now this deal is on the Fox River, and we were able to negotiate not only the property, but all the furniture in it. Now, when I walk around, some of this furniture we added, but pretty much we were able to get all the furniture negotiated with that. One nice thing about this particular strategy is we don't have to get a steal. It's great if we get a good deal and it's, off market and there's equity instantly, but we're looking for cash flow. We're looking for a specific property that fits our very, very specific needs. So this one's on the Fox River, gives you an idea of outside. It's got a Plano address, but it's outside of Yorkville. That's downtown Yorkville where the arrow is pointing. There's the front of the property. And again, we're going to walk this property. So there's landscaping. It's beautiful with all these decks. We'll walk out on one of those decks and you can see almost every room I think every room but 3 in this full house has a view of the river. So we're very excited about that. Wow. So there's a view that I'll show you. Here's the entryway. This was an office. One thing we do with short-term rentals, especially luxury short-term rentals, an office doesn't do you any good, but a bedroom does. A bedroom means more people means you can charge more and open it up to larger groups. So this was an office. I'll walk you through it. We converted that to a bedroom by just putting a coating on the windows so you can't see in, put a privacy lock on there. So this furniture, pretty much we were able to buy most of this furniture, including that living room or the dining room set. Here's the kitchen that I'm in. I'll walk around that. So these were the pictures that were actually for the listing when the property was listing. Here's the bathroom. That's the master bathroom. We're going to walk through that. Master bedroom. Here's one of the bedrooms. We've changed quite a bit. Some of the furniture, we moved out beds because we want king beds whenever possible. That's a Jack and Jill. That's a Jack and Jill bathroom. Here's a bedroom. You'll see we've changed quite a bit. This was a beautiful half bath. We didn't have to change that at all. There's the lower level. The lower level is still above ground when you go out. This is on a hill. And the lower level, when you walk out, is still above ground. It has 10-foot high ceilings, maybe even higher than 10 feet. You'll see that. This was the old bathroom. I'm going to show you when I walk through what it looks like now. You'll see that we painted. There's paint. A company comes in just like they do, like they paint a car. They come up with the paint equipment, and this black made it dated. So we change this out to white, and you'll see then we've got a matte black trim on there, and we've changed out the vanity. We changed out the flooring. You'll see that during my walkthrough. The bar pretty much is intact. We kept that. It has a downstairs kitchen. This is another room that we converted to a bedroom. And then a little bit, just real brief on the financing of this, and then I'm going to walk through the property. So this is done with none of my own money. In this case, I did use my credit. Most of the cases, I don't use my credit at all. The very first luxury short-term rental, we used a private lender. as kind of our mortgage company. Didn't use any of my own credit or any of my money or my credit. And then what's neat about this is I'm actually the licensed broker that closed the deal. So not only did I not have to put money into the deal to buy this, knowing how to structure it, what I've learned with this group, I actually got paid at closing on the last couple of deals that we've done, because I was the licensed broker representing me also as the buyer, me and my group. But I do this through what I call an equity partnership, where myself, and sometimes it's just me as the managing member of the partnership of the LLC. But in this case, there's 3 of us. I have 2 partners in these luxury short-term rentals. And so I bring the money in through equity partners. And in this case, they own 30% of it. And that percent varies slightly of how much they own of the LLC based on the return, right? We try to give them a certain amount of return. That's a benchmark for us. And sometimes that means we only have to give them 25% ownership, and they still get a great return that they're looking for. Sometimes it's 30. The highest one, the property outside of Indianapolis, that we gave 34%. But we needed to do that in order to give them an attractive return. So that's the equity partner. And on this one, we used a DSCR loan. If you're not familiar with that, that's a debt service coverage loan. They're becoming more and more popular. You can do it with rental properties. You can also do it with short-term rental properties. And basically what that means is they're loaning based on the asset. It needs to show a certain income. Usually it's 1.3% or 1.1, anywhere from 1.1 to 1.3% of the 1.1 or 1.3 ratio of the debt service. So let's say you're going to get a loan and it's $10,000. They're looking for income of $10,000 a month. They're looking for income of $13,000 a month. That would be a 1.3 debt coverage service ratio there. So that's how we did this deal. That's how I, structured this deal with none of my own money. This case, I did use my credit. I usually don't, but this one I did. Now, let me just, you're going to want to know the numbers, so you can maybe think of questions as I'm walking through the property. So it was originally listed at the 875 number. We were able to negotiate that down, and we got it for $665,000, including the furniture. There were just a couple pieces they really wanted. They were kind of attached to, so we allowed that. But that debt service coverage loan was really high. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you paid 3 points and 12.5%. Here's what's exciting about that, and exciting about the times that we're living in right now with these higher interest rates, is that the deal works at 12.5%. The deal works. Think about that now in a couple of years, if we are able to refinance. So let's say that goes to half of that, 6%, 6.25%. Our profit is just going to explode at that time, because our debt service payment is going to be much lower. So anyway, it's the reality. Some people would not have done this deal. I'm not going to do this deal because I'm going to have to pay 12.5%. You run the numbers. If it works, it works. And it's great if you can do a deal at that high of interest rate. And then you just know in the future, you may have some increase in cash flow beyond that. So this is an acre lot, but we also bought the lot next to us for $50,000, because we want to insulate ourselves from the neighbors. There's an empty lot on the other side that the neighbor owns, and with his same idea in mind, he's doing that because he does not want a neighbor next to him. So we're going to approach him to get right of first refusal in case he decides to buy it or sell it. We'd like to buy that as well. Some of our properties have, one we just closed on in Indianapolis, has 60 acres. We're looking at one that has 150 acres. So we want those big properties that you can throw your big party that nobody else wants. Remember when I said real estate investing is problem solving? Well, really, there's a problem that we're solving here in our little niche market. And that is that people that go on Airbnb and VRBO and they want to have a large gathering, a large birthday party or whatever, they're turned down because they have a limit, or they're granted access to the property. And then there's a party, and then the neighbors complain, and they complain to the city, the village, they get shut down. That is a problem. And what's amazing is myself and one of my partners both experienced that with one of our properties. Getting new into this, learning the ropes. we had properties that were more in a subdivision type setting, although there was land about an acre. We got complaints, and I wasn't forced to sell mine, but I decided to sell mine rather than to fight that battle. But I thought of, man, there's a problem here, isn't there? So what's the solution? The solution is we go out and specifically find these kind of properties because there's a demand for them in the marketplace, and we can provide it. We can do the vetting of the municipality. We make sure that we're not going to run into any problems, and we can provide something that's really wanted and needed. People don't want to go to hotel banquet rooms for weddings anymore, or wedding receptions. They want more of a home feel, right? So anyway, that's the market that we're in. So in this, we ran all our numbers. We bought the property for another $50,000, like I said. Our setup and reserve, setup, rehab, and reserve is $65,000. We may go a little bit over budget, but not much. And then also we have reserve is repeated there twice. It shouldn't be. The first one should just be rehab and setup, $65,000, and then reserve was $25,000 on top of that. So our projections, and here's where we're having sometimes getting the loan is challenging because they don't believe our numbers. So you say $21,000 a month, how can you project that? Well, we have a very similar property about an hour and a half away, also in the Chicago suburbs, but strategically a great distance apart from this. And we closed out our first year. We're about a year and a half into that, and we've averaged $25,000. I'm sorry, $25,000 per month in revenue, and our profit on that is about $10,000 a month. And lo and behold, that's what we should make here with just a $21,000 a month. And I say only. During our summer on that other property, we did over $55,000 in the month of July. 1 month, one single family home. So anyway, it's very exciting. Now I think that's it on the slides here. Let me see.
Hey, Randy, can I jump in for a second?
Absolutely.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. This is amazing. Now, some of these numbers, excuse me, I got a little bit of a frog there. Some of these numbers may be really grabbing people, like, oh my gosh, those are such big numbers. And I loved how you talked about, because I talked to so many folks, Randy, that are like, yeah, I can do this deal, but it's going to be 12% interest and 2 points with a hard money lender, and I hate paying that much money out. And then the first thing I'm saying, well, when you run your numbers, does the deal work? And so you guys are doing a large deal, and you've got an equity partner, I take it, that's using most of their credit, and then they're the ones that brought the cash to the table, correct?
Yeah, great question. The equity partner, sometimes it's one. In this particular house, it's three. They brought the cash to the table. Maybe there's only two on this one. No, three, because husband and wife and then an additional person. So only three. They brought in all the money. Now, I will say on this one, I did sign on the loan. Okay, so I used my credit on this one. But the previous one, I didn't use any of my own money or my credit. Number one, that was a private money lender. And what we're doing too with the partners is to use these DSCR loans. We're taking turns who's signing them, who's personally guaranteeing those. But I've done many deals without any of my own credit. This one happens to be one with my own credit. But again, my credit was able to be good enough to be accepted on this because of learning how to develop your credit, increase your credit, all classes that we have in this community and education group that we're a part of.
Well, I got a direct question that was sent to me only. If you guys have questions, definitely put them in the chat room for everyone to see. But a question I just got is, you obviously didn't just start with $25,000 a month short-term rentals. Did you start with a smaller short-term rental project, a smaller portfolio when you first started, or did you jump right in to large dollar deals?
It's a great question. So let me answer it this way. I did a lot of smaller rental properties and smaller flips first. Now, by the time I started looking at short-term rentals, I'd already had 20 years experience, 15, 20 years full-time real estate investing. So it wasn't as big of a jump. But I did my first two experience with short-term rentals, where both of them were houses that I was going to flip. So I had two very nice houses that I put on the market to flip. And they took a little bit longer. And I thought, you know what? I usually don't stage my flips because they go so quickly. These aren't going so quickly. So I staged those two houses. They were at different times, maybe 6 months to a year apart from each other. But I staged those houses for dual purpose. One, because staging sometimes will get you a buyer quicker. They'll show nicer. But two, I started using them as a short-term rental. So, and those were about $600,000 houses. One was maybe 350. The other one was $600,000 house. So I was kind of already in that, doing that. When it came time to doing this, to be honest with you, I didn't want to start with the smaller short-term rental experience because I wanted to carve out a niche for myself that is not like everybody else. Everybody else has the 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 1 bath, and they're up there, and there's hundreds of those available probably in any community or any large metropolitan area to choose from. We wanted to stand out. We're like, no, if we're doing this, we're doing it to solve a problem. So to really buy a house as a short-term rental, these are the first ones. But we do have, and I'll show you if we have time, a slide where we're doing an arbitrage model that's taught in the classes where we don't own the property at all. And we're partnering with the owner, and we pay him a percent on the first $5,000 we bring in, and then we get a bigger percent on the second $5,000. It can be done like that. Or some people in our community are renting the homes or apartments at a certain price, and then they're short-term renting it and they're making the spread. It's a wonderful strategy. And that strategy you can do for really no money or credit. Maybe you're providing the furniture and that's it. Sometimes that's negotiable, right? So
Right.
There's multiple ways to do it. Yeah.
So another great question here, as when we kicked this off and got started, we talked to, let everybody know that you were doing real estate investing before. Your slides show that you've done over 100 deals. Did you find when you became a part of this community that the education in the community really helped you get to the next level?
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I was sharing with my story about me, like just done a flip and discovered that I probably could have made $10,000 more on that flip. That right there, I mean, how many of those do you have to do to pay your investment in your education and training back? You have to do a couple of those deals, So anyway, I looked at it as an investment. And I knew that at that point, I knew the value of the education. What I didn't know until later really was the value of the community. Number one, real estate investing can be a pretty lonely job. I mean, if you think about it, if you're doing everything yourself and you're buying the property and you're flipping, there's not much social life there. It's been wonderful from just a social aspect, being a part of the community. I have a very limited social life. It's basically connected to real estate one way or another, or else I'm not going to be doing it. So what I realized and got to know over the years is the value of the community. For example, everybody in this deal that I'm just talking about, I either met in the community or the couple, one of the equity partners, they're from my church. So most of the deals that I've done, the previous one to that, same thing, they were either directly or indirectly from somebody from the community. So it's been a wonderful blessing. You'll find some people in the community may have the time, but they don't have the money. They may have the credit, but they may not have the money. They may have the skills and knowledge, but they may not have the money. Other people have the money, but they don't have the time. So I always talk about, you want to set up a partnership. You want to make sure that your partners are complementary, right? Like a complementary angle is a right angle. Two angles that form a right angle is complementary angles. That's what you want. You want complementary partners, not replicas of yourself. You don't want another one of you. It might be easier to get along with, but you're not really expanding. 1 + 1 needs to equal 3. There needs to be synergy. There needs to be a benefit. And that's what I found in this community is you can find and you can target people. And plus with the community, you see people week in and week out and week in, and you build a trust and a relationship. And yeah, sure, things can still go wrong, but you know what? Otherwise, it's a crapshoot out there. Someone connects to you on Facebook and you want to do a deal with them. You don't know them. You're not seeing them on a weekly basis, whether it's on a Zoom or it's in person. So that was huge. Yeah.
Yeah. A couple more questions, and then we'll let you get to show the property since you're right there on site.
Yeah.
When you talked earlier about you on this particular deal, you used your credit. did you use your personal credit or your business credit?
So on this particular deal, I was the personal guarantor for the loan. So on this one, I used my personal credit.
Okay.
Again, it's probably the first deal I've done using my personal credit. I do 2 of these in a row with using my personal credit. And that was the first time I think I'd used my personal credit on a deal for 10, 15 years. It's been that long. But again, because of the nature of these particular properties and how we structured it, I was ready to get back in and go ahead and use my personal credit.
Right, right, absolutely. So, Randy, you're just like me. When you're out and about, you talk to people about real estate investing. They ask you what you do, you share with what you do, and I'm sure you get the common thing you get back, like I do. Feedback is, boy, I've always wanted to be a real estate investor, but I don't have any money. I don't have good credits, so I can't do real estate. And one of the questions we have on here is, and I know the answer, and I'll let you go ahead and answer it. Can you get different types of loans without using your own credit?
Yeah, when I first got started, I tell people this. When I first got started, I had some money and good credit because I came from a high-paying corporate job. But I'll tell people that was both my blessing and my curse, because when I got started in real estate, I basically was just a real estate buyer more than an investor. I was just buying some rental property, buying some properties. I didn't have to be creative. It wasn't until I really ran out of my own money and didn't want to use my credit anymore that I really became a knowledgeable and experienced real estate investor. That was the creative ways to acquire properties. There are people out there right now getting poor returns on their money. That's a fact. There's billions of dollars. It's estimated that there's about $7 billion in retirement accounts that are available to self-direct. A lot of my partners, they've self-directed their retirement accounts in order to be a part of my deal, because I can get them a better return than anywhere else they can get a return. Plus, it's secured by real estate. So most of my deals over the 15 years have been with private money lenders or equity partners. Rarely do I ever use a bank. I mean, these last 2, we've used banks, they're bigger purchases, but rarely. Even the one before this, we didn't use a bank, and that was a $850,000 deal purchase. So, but you got to bring something to the table. And if you're not bringing money to the table, and if you're not bringing credit to the table, you got to bring knowledge and or your time. But people say they want to partner with me and say, well, I can bring my time. Well, the problem is, if you're not knowledgeable, experienced, you haven't been educated, now I got to spend my time educating and training you in order for you to utilize your time, right? That's not fair on me. I said, you want me to help you, I will, but that's a charity. That's not a partnership, right? So if you can bring to the table to be able to find deals, analyze deals, evaluate the financing, give people options, create, solve problems. Now you bring that to somebody that has money or credit, and you're somebody they want to deal with, right? Without that, you're going to have a hard time breaking in. And one thing that I saw that the previous instructors we've had years ago, was very inspired by them. Before they did their first real estate deal, they analyzed 100 deals. They became educated and trained, and they went through the training program. They analyzed like 100 deals and had all the statistics on them, brought them to people that did have money and credit and say, hey, this is what's happening right now in this area. I want to do this with you. I just need money and credit, and here's what I'm going to be able to do for you. And that's what got them the first deal. Now they've done hundreds of deals, right? So if someone's sitting there thinking, I don't have money, I don't have credit, I don't know what to do, think about what can you bring, and certainly training yourself and becoming knowledgeable is what everybody can do. You just need to invest in yourself. Instead of investing $25,000 into one deal that may go up or may go down, invest in yourself, and that will be evergreen. That will serve you in deal after deal, decade after decade.
Awesome. One more question, and then we'll let you go ahead and take us through the property. There's a good question here from Latoya. Just getting started, trying to use private lenders. A lot of times private lenders don't want to work with brand new people. Now, you just kind of addressed a lot of that as far as from the knowledge skill set as far as gaining knowledge, learning about the business. But it's all about relationships. And, Randy, I know that you are a king of building relationships. How important is that? Because you can't just get into this business and think you're going to present a deal to 5 complete strangers that are private lenders and that you're going to walk away with all this money. How important it is to build relationships.
Yeah, and then I'll talk about relationships. Then I'll go back to address another issue with that question, maybe some advice and things that I've done. So that's kind of what I said about joining the community. Building that trust, building that relationship. Like you just said, you're asking for a complete stranger to trust in you. A lot of the people from Renatus have came to me and asked me if I would be interested in partnering with them, that they have money as a private money lender. How did I get to that point where they're asking me if they can partner on my deal and bring the money? Is because of the commitment, showing up every week, being consistent, doing what you say you're going to do, follow through, make sure that you're a person of your word. I mean, that's very important. The other thing is, though, and what I've done in private money lenders early on is I gave them a ridiculous return on their money. Now, I didn't borrow a lot, but one of the first deals I did with a private money lender, I paid them, are you ready for this? I paid them 24% on their money. Now, it was only about a $20,000 or $30,000 loan. It was a quick in and out deal within about a month. So that, even though it's 24%, it cost me a couple $1,000s to do a deal. Guess what? After I did that deal and I paid them that money back, they say, well, do you have another one? Do you have another one? And I'm like, well, I do have another one, but this one I can only pay 18%. Okay, I'll do it, right? I built that. So people are so afraid to pay big money. It's like, I did that. I did that as a way. I always tease them. It's like a drug dealer. Oh, I got a 24%er here, to get them started. And then they come back to me. Oh, I only got an 18%er. I only got a 12%. Pretty soon those same people are lending and are happy to lend at, let's say, 8% or whatever it is, right? So don't be afraid. If you know your numbers, right? If you don't know your numbers and you don't know what you're doing, don't pay 24%. If you're educated, trained, and you knew and you analyze the deal and you've minimized the risk, if that works with your number, I went ahead and did that. And that's how I started to build up my resources and all the private money lenders that I do have. Now, the other thing I'll say is, again, it gets back to community, partner with somebody that does. So let's say you do find a property and it takes a private money or a hard money lender and they're not willing to work with you because it's your first one. Go to somebody that then has done a deal. In fact, I've told people that at Renatus, be maybe a private money lender or an equity partner in a deal of mine or a deal with somebody that has done deals. And then now you can go to that private money lender and say, hey, I've done a deal with Randy or Sam or whoever, but now I want to do a deal with you, and so that is a way to gain that experience through partnering with someone else. And you might not get as big a return maybe on the first deal, but you're in it for the long haul. It's a marathon. You're training. That's your training at the beginning to be able to run that marathon effectively.
Well, Randy, those were awesome feedback for everybody. A lot of golden nuggets there that all of us should be taking away from this property tour. I know we're down to about looks like about 20 minutes to the hour. Would you like to kind of take us through some of the finished rooms and things like that?
I would love to. Here's the kitchen. Unfortunately, this is not, since it's not my phone, I can't zoom in and out. But there's that two-sided fireplace. It's gas fireplace. You just flip on a switch and that turns on, which is what we're trying to put in almost all of our luxury short-term rentals. All this kitchen, this was all done. What I kind of love about this strategy after doing a lot of gut rehabs is I love going into a property and it's pretty much all done when we walk in. Look at the skylights and everything. And see, this is a property that we can pay, market value for a home and still make money. Learning multiple strategies means that you'll be able to help more people and you'll be able to make money in real estate, whether the market's up or down. It didn't really matter to us that we paid market value for this home. It's still just a great deal for us based on our numbers. So there's the dining room. By the way, that the furniture was included. We put a couple paintings up here. Here's the living room. So as I walk in, this is the living room. And I wish I could actually zoom out a little bit, but this furniture, there's the catwalk up there. And then this is the walking out to here. Now I'm gonna go to the window here and you can see the type of view. There's that two-sided fireplace now from the other side. Flat screen TV. I think we have 9 flat screen TVs in here. So I like to put them in every bedroom. But anyway, this is the view as I look out. We've moved the fire pit. It was over, oops, you can see it over there. And now we've moved it over there because when I walk out of the deck, I'll show you that we're going to have like a little wedding venue. That's the Fox River there. And then across the river, that is either a state park or a county park. So nobody will ever build over there. So it'll always be that beautiful natural trees that people will see when they come to the home. Let me walk into the map. Oh, by the way, this was, remember I said there was an office and all we did was we put, it's like a film that you put, we were going to change outdoors and all of a sudden at Home Depot we say, oh, this is a film you can put over the windows. So it fogs it up. And then now that becomes a bedroom. So again, the office, we couldn't charge more, but for a bedroom we can. So this is the bedroom that now allows us to, have more people stay. So this one, the way it works in this particular county, right now it's zoned to have 16 overnight guests. We can have as many during the day as we want, but 16 overnight guests. And we're going to upgrade the septic system. So that will get us up to 20. And that's the maximum that they allow with this size of home. So we'll have 20 guests. So again, that's not your typical short-term rental where you're going to have 20, maybe 20 loud guests and everybody will be fine with it. So this is the master bedroom. And the master bedroom, there's the master bath through there. This is really neat. Your master bedroom right there again. Come out here, you can have your morning coffee, and this is what you get to see. That's where the fireplace was originally, and we're moving it to there because starting about the middle of the lot, and then we're going to clear out about half into that lot over there, that wooded lot that we bought. So this is where they could have an outdoor wedding. And then we're going to have stairs down, a little better stairs than what they have there out into the deck. But this is just beautiful. And what's amazing is today's a spring day, so you're getting the green grass. But when it was snow covered, it was equally beautiful. And you have got the contrast between the white snow and then that river keeps running. So it's usually doesn't freeze over because of the flow of the river, but it was beautiful when it was snow covered. That little shed right there, we built that into a kid's playhouse. So it's all got bright colors. That's where the kids can go. You can see where the contractor's about halfway done with that fire pit. We're going to finish that up, but here's a shot of the other decks in the woods. So go back in through here. This is the again the master bedroom. This bathroom, again, I've done a lot of bathrooms over my rehabbing career. It was very nice to walk into a bathroom to say, you know what, I couldn't have done better myself. So this is that walk-in shower that you saw in the pictures. Again, I apologize that the only bad thing about the camera is I can't zoom out to get bigger shots. But look at this with the bathtub. You have that view of the river right over the bathtub. So you could be in that bathtub and have that beautiful view of the river. There's a view of the woods on this side here. But this will be your view as you're sitting, soaking in the bathtub. Here again is the shower. Now it has 2 large closets. That's one thing we don't need in a luxury short-term rental is big closets. So we might convert one of the closets into another full bath. So it would be a bath attached to that office. Let me go upstairs. I'll kind of walk through this fairly quick. For the most part, we try to put king beds whenever possible in every bedroom, just because, again, 2 people can sleep in there. In fact, if it's kids, maybe 3 people would sit in there. This one has its own bathroom right off of that. So you've got its own bathroom here. There's the shower.
Randy, how many bathrooms do you have there for 16 people?
So we have 4.5, and we might bump up to 5.5 would be a possibility. So here is, by the way, this is from even from the catwalk, you might see some glare there, but even from the catwalk, you've got beautiful views of the river. This is the Jack and Jill bedroom or bedroom that connects to Jack and Jill bathroom. So there's a bunk bed there. And then there's a king bed also in this bedroom. So this was a nice big bedroom. And this one, we really didn't paint any walls or anything like that. This was pretty much done. There's the Jack and Jill bathroom with the shower. Here, whoop, a little close up there, but that's all right. Here's the other bedroom. So they share that, have access to that particular. And by the way, some of the furniture that I'm using here is like a, I'm trying to describe it. It's almost like an outlet for Marriott's and other type of hotels. I know a guy that has a business that when a hotel changes the design or maybe another hotel buys them out, he gets goes in there and gets their furniture. And some of the furniture is hardly used at all. So a lot of our furnishings, this right here, a lot of that came from that particular source that I have. So we're going to go down to the lower level. We call this a lower level, and for good reason. The ceilings are about 10 foot high or higher. So you can remember from those pictures, that's pretty much intact what you saw with the pictures beforehand, just different furniture perhaps in here. Nice little table area over there. You have, this is a two-sided, three-sided fireplace that you just flip on a switch. Now this was an unfinished space. So this area was unfinished and we're using this now going to be a kids play area. So the adults can be out there by the bar and having a good time, by the hot tub we have out in the outside, and then the kids can be in here in this playroom area. So that was unfinished. So what we did with the ceiling is we just painted it black. You might not be able to see it well with the camera, but it's just basically open and then black. And then, so that's a kids playroom. We were going to do a theater room, but we ended up having so many TVs. Like I said, I think we have 9 TVs and there's one right out here. So we thought, instead of doing a theater room, let's do a kids playroom. And that way too, if the adults are here, they're sitting at the bar, even had these taps there set up for a keg. We've got a table ordered here. So right here where these chairs are, there will be a table there, but there's the hot tub right outside there. You can see sit in the hot tub and then have the view of the river. So we're excited. Almost all their properties, we make sure that they have a hot tub in those somewhere in the property. Oh, this is the downstairs kitchen. Nothing fancy, but this is more just functional. We'll probably change out the appliances soon, but right now we'll launch it as is. And then here's that bathroom. I don't know if you remember that from the picture, but remember the shower, that one-piece shower was black. Now it's white. And the frame, instead of being that old brass, is now that matted black. So anyway, much nicer, changed out the flooring to make it more modern. And then here's the vanity. It was an older vanity, so that we've replaced that. And mirrors and lights. So remember on that budget, I believe was 65,000. Here's the other thing that we did with that is over here, this was an unfinished room with concrete floors. So we made this unfinished area. It was kind of a workbench type area. And then see this door right here, that wall did not exist. We just closed off that wall because that's where the furnace is and made this into another bedroom. Again, you're thinking, well, how many bedrooms do you need? Well, bedrooms means money. That's how we're able to average, $20,000 to $25,000 a month in these luxury short-term rentals because we can sleep so many people. You start doing the math. Well, if you can sleep 16 people, that's equivalent to 8 hotel rooms. How much you can spend a night with 8 hotel rooms? Well, the one property that we have in McHenry that we've had for over a year, we're averaging 25,000 a month. And from that, our average stay is 2.7 nights. And the average amount per night that we charge averaged out to about, I think it was about $1,700 per night. So again, you say, well, who would spend $1,700 a night? Well, when you do the math, again, if it houses, if you need 8 equivalent hotel rooms, 8 times 2 is 1,600 right there. That's where the hotel, and where you have to now buy your own food and go out to restaurants all the time. So anyway, this is another bedroom. Probably put some decorations up there. This wall's not finished, but again, you have this. I say them all these bedrooms. You have these type of views, that you're going to wake up to. So we're really excited about launching this. We'll probably launch this. In fact, they're taking pictures. They're scheduled to do the pictures on Wednesday. So just in a few days. And that's the only thing we're waiting on, really. is get the pictures. We want to launch them with just unbelievably attractive pictures, because that's big. It's just like listing a property for sale. So anyway, now I'm just walking out of the deck. You can see I'm going to have them move that debris right there. In fact, they're here now, but they got here late. I wanted them to start before I started. There's walk up to the driveway. And then again, that's going to be the area right here where we'll make available. I mean, we're going to have wedding in the woods, right? On the river. So we're real excited. We get a lot of inquiries about those type of things, wanting weddings or, retirement parties and things like that. And we actually, at our other property, we get tents. Sometimes we have them set up tents. Okay, I'm going to head back upstairs. Scott, do you have any more questions? I haven't even.
Sure. Yeah. So Randy, this is on the Fox River. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's on the Fox River. Yep.
Okay. So you're right on the edge of Plano.
Yeah. So it's kind of strange. It's only about a mile and a half from downtown Yorkville. So Yorkville is actually the town that's the closest, but it has a Plano address, Illinois address.
So what about the cleaning? How are you going to take care of that? You've got another model that you said it's about an hour and a half from there that you've had it. You guys have been operating for over a year. What do you do for your cleaning? Do you hire a service out? How do you do that?
Okay, so yes, we have a cleaning service that we do use. By the way, don't know if you lost you're seeing me or my screen, but yeah, so we have cleaners every time we have a guest check out. We have the cleaners come in, they do all that. That's all in our business model. We don't clean it ourselves. And so that's an expense. So this size of house, we pay anywhere from $400 to $500 per clean. But that's passed on to the client, and that's actually a profit center. So we usually make about $100 on the cleaning fee. So whatever we get charged, we usually charge the client, the guest, about $100 more. So that doesn't affect us negatively. In fact, it's like I say, it's an additional revenue for us.
Now, is this property going to be listed on your different type short-term platforms like VRBO, corporate housing by owner, different ones like that?
Yeah, so we'll be on most all the platforms. We also are in the process of migrating people to our direct booking site. So, right now we're about 80, in the first year of the other property, we were about 85% kind of popular platform like VRBO, Airbnb, and so forth, booking.com. We're about 85%. We don't want to be so dependent on their revenue. Who knows, they could change their model, they could increase their fees. We want to flip that. We want to be 85% direct booking, 15% Airbnb and VRBO. And some of that will be natural migration, because whenever someone stays at our property, we send them a message that basically say, thanks for your stay. We hope you enjoyed it. The next time you are planning to stay with us, please feel free to save money by booking directly and we give our website out there, our direct booking website. So repeat business will probably always come through our direct booking website, but we're actually going to do some direct marketing, Facebook and so forth type marketing directly to people, directly to wedding planners and so forth. So we're real excited about it. Obviously, Kevin Harrington was as well, because he wants to feature that on that show, and he's done a promo video for us. So yeah, we're excited about that. But yeah, right away, we'll get it on all of those platforms. I mean, Airbnb and VRBO, that is great. I mean, you can't spend the amount of money to get you that kind of exposure that they do. I mean, thousands and thousands of people are searching those sites every single day. And it's hard to beat that type of advertisement.
Somebody put me on mute. I'm good. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Perfect. This has been a fantastic property tour. There's been so many golden nuggets that you've given out, and I hope everybody's really paid attention today and listened to all the information and feedback that Randy's given us. As we get toward the top of the hour, Randy, I always love letting the featured investor kind of share a little bit in the property tour. for folks that are on today that maybe are looking at this business model, the short-term rental business model or midterm rental model, or just real estate investing in general, and they're not a part of our community yet. They're kind of checking this property tour out. Maybe they're going to go to some different events. You talked about a Saturday workshop. There's different types of exposures or different things that they can attend during the week, both in person and online, depending on where they live in the country. How would you like to wrap up today? What kind of words of advice or recommendations you would give to folks on today that want to either take their game to the next level, get going in this business, or just become a part of this community? How would you like to wrap up or summarize everything?
So one thing I would say is definitely get back. If you're seeing this for the first time, you're not a part of our community, get back with the person that invited you. That's number one. As soon as this webinar is over, connect with them, because it's worth checking out. I'm not going to say that, everybody, you've got to join the community or you're going to fail. Look at it objectively. Look at the pros and the cons, as I did. Evaluate it, whether you've done a few real estate deals and you want to take your game to the next level. Real estate is big stakes. You can make a lot of money, and if you do things wrong, you can lose a lot of money and credit, and maybe ruin your life for years. So as Bob Tierney says often, give real estate the respect that it deserves. It does deserve your respect. You wouldn't go and do surgery without proper training and education. Give it that same respect, because whether you're using your money, or even more importantly, if you're using somebody else's money, that's big stakes. That's as high as stakes get right there. Whether it's $10,000 or $100,000 or $500,000, it does not matter. If you're entrusted with somebody else's money, you've got to do everything you can to make sure that you're prepared, you're educated, you're connected, and you're minimizing that risk and doing all you can. So do yourself a favor, look into this deeply, make an informed business decision. Don't look at short-term, look at long-term. And if real estate is what you really want to do, if that's the avenue that you want to take as a financial vehicle to have financial freedom, then you need to take a look at this community and this education and training, because you're not going to find a better one out there. Many people's come to us after having bad experiences with other programs or training or networking out there. I just know that everyone's heart's in the right place. We're trying to help everybody become successful. And by the way, I've seen a lot of notes saying, thank you to me. You're very welcome. I'm glad that I could share this time with you. Get with the people, decide if this is what you're going to do, and then take action. Procrastination will steal your opportunities. Take action if that's what you decide to do.
Well, Randy, again, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you coming out, taking out time of your day, sharing with this on this property tour. I know I took a lot of great information away. And for everybody on, Randy said, get back to who invited. If you're a guest today, get back to who invited you and say, hey, I want to learn more. What else can I be a part of or attend? Is there some kind of specific training, like a fix and flip or a wholesale training or something that I can, experience a little bit and, take action. I love what you said, Randy. Take action. There's that old saying, what is that? Paralysis by analysis. Sometimes people just spend so much time just trying to think and think. And you're right. This is a high stakes thing, but this is something that people can create generational wealth. And, that time and freedom that allows, if you do it right, is so instrumental. And again, thank you, Randy. Let's wrap it up for today. Guys, we'll be back next Saturday, and we're going to be across the country in Sierra Vista, Arizona. So we'll be shooting live from there. So please come out, bring a friend, bring a family member, bring a spouse, and jump on it. And we'll see you next Saturday at the same time. Randy, thank you very much, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All right. Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.
God bless you too, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody.